Hey guys, today we're going to be discussing maps, how to sustain maps, how to run maps, what kind of maps are good, what kind of maps are bad, kind of go over the history of mapping, so to say, a little bit, and yeah, what it takes to get maps outside of simply running them to actually have a map pool, which many people tend to disregard, and they try and take maps for a guarantee, and if they don't get lucky, you know, it's not their fault, it's everyone else's. Understandably, there are scenarios where at the end of the day it's just RNG and you can get really unlucky, and whatever you do, you're just not gonna have maps. It happens. It doesn't happen often, but you know, like desync, people often try to blame something else than themselves for their misfortune. So alright, maybe let's start from some common misconceptions. Um, some people think that quantity on maps does not affect the map drops. It does, greatly. To a great extent, I've done a lot of testing in the past on this, and there were 1 weeks where I would specifically run 100, 120 quantity plus maps only, pretty much suicide maps the entire 1 week, but it gave me such a tremendously high map pool that I mean, I'm a believer, right? And I did this once or twice. Did this also in a permanent league just to you know, kind of cement this idea. And yeah, I had even though I was playing solo, my map pool was so high that I was actually able to sell maps on a 1 week race again while playing solo, which is simply unheard of, but it proves the concept. So what can you do to uh, get your quantity higher than just rolling the maps? Well, one of the things are chisels. Sorry about the mess in my stash. Chisels. So chisels increase the quantity of the map by the quality and quantity of the map by 5%. So what this means on a base, if we get 20 quality, 1 quality equals 1 quantity. So if we get 20 quality, which is the max, like any item, we get a base immediately, a base of 20 quantity. So then most likely, you should be pretty much only ever, unless the map is crazy rolled, if you find like a rare map, but you should pretty much only ever chisel white maps, because then you only need to use 4 chisels, which is equivalent to like a chaos maybe, depending on the league that you're playing, to get that base 20 quantity, which is pretty much humongous. So how to get chisels, and this is also a kind of a good money source for some of you guys out there that, you know, need currency. Whenever you start a new character, whenever a new league starts, be sure to focus on picking up stone hammers, rock breakers, and gavels. There you go. 3 types of hammers, and what this does for you, if you find blacksmith stones, there you go. If you've got a stone hammer and you go to the vendor, any vendor of course, and you vendor a type of hammer that I've mentioned before with any map, you get a cartographer's chisel. So what this means is that you typically end up with tremendous amounts of pretty much useless 66 maps. There are 66 maps that are very good and should be running them even on higher levels. But there are maps like crypts and stuff and dungeons they really should never be running, simply because they're not efficient. So that's what you do with them. You get these cartographer chisels. I don't quite remember the levels of the things, but just be on the lookout, you know. Check your vendors for these, and it's gonna make a humongous difference, and it's a good money maker. And if you feel like farming them, you can go into Southern Forest or Riverways in normal, which is easy, and with a well-made character, maybe not specifically for farming this, but with a well-made character like an Aref or like something, you know, with a Herald possibly, you can really just farm so many of these that it's going to make a tremendous difference. Right? So for the most part, you've got your chisels covered, and like I said, it's always worth it to use chisels at least below level 70 maps. Above level 70 maps. Always, always, always worth it. Don't think that the 1 chaos is going to make a difference. You're going to have to spend the 1 chaos anyway to roll it properly. You know, a map that's almost always guaranteed to give you what you want. So, to further increase this, I don't believe I have any, but, oh, there we go. You can use sacrifice pieces. The way you do this, you go into the map device. Let's assume that, okay, there we go. We've got a map. And then you put the sacrifice pieces. You can use 3, and each one gives 5% quantity as well. Quality, which equals quantity, I guess. So from the get-go, you can have 20% and the additional 15. So 35% makes a humongous difference. This was not available in the past. So it actually made a big difference, but nobody ever does this. And it's also very much worth it. These are worth an ALK or so, pretty much at any point in the league. So you can just buy them and it's completely no problem. Right? So, okay, let's further increase this. The way you build your character, it has to be, if you're willing to map, you have to have a strong character. Like, it's no question that you can't just map efficiently with any build. You can pretty much map efficiently with any skill at this point in the game, but you can't really do it with any build because you need to be able to roll stuff properly. There is a list I highly recommend. Oh, actually, I need to add a new scene. Sorry about this. One sec. Monitor capture. You actually, I highly recommend you use this. Map Management Resource by Literally. I don't know how updated it is right now, but this is where all the information is. This is incredibly useful. I'm going to link it in the description. Be sure to check this out. It has, you know, all the maps, all the prefixes from the wiki with you know, all the values. Some of them might not be updated. All the map quantity, everything. Incredibly important. It is clear that some mods are better than others. Some mods are better on blue maps. Some mods are better on yellow maps in sequence with something. Big deal. But I think we can go over the way I kind of roll my maps and which maps I prefer and how I do things. It's maybe not the best. It's worked for me. Again, maps are kind of RNG. You can just get really unlucky and nothing's gonna happen for you. But yeah, as long as you hopefully go off of this guide and hopefully also check this out, look like just how much information, potential, everything is here. I'm just gonna give my own perspective on these things, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So here we go. These are pretty much all the maps, and we're gonna go over them because it makes a big difference. I'm gonna try and explain my reasoning for when to roll them, which maps to roll, how to roll them, and how much currency to invest into them. And obviously this is, like I said before, highly relevant to how your character, how strong your character is. But for the most part, you know, I would assume we have a pretty similar character, right? So, alright boys, at this point I kinda have to edit another part into the video, simply because it turns out talking about maps takes a really long time. So the next portion of the video where I talk about maps, etc., you know, the levels of the maps, specific maps, and how to roll them, all that kind of stuff, it took me 45 minutes. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to separate it into 3 parts. So this is going to be the introduction part of the video. The second one is going to be like short explanations of everything, and then 66 up until 72 and including 72 maps, and then the final portion of the series will be 73 and above. I recommend you check out all of them, even if you think you're not interested in 66 maps. I try and talk, you know, about not only very specifically about maps, but also I try and put in a lot of tips and stuff like that that I've feel personally worked for me very well over the years of playing PoE. Right, so hopefully you're gonna find it informative. Sorry about the very long series and the very long videos, but mapping is a pretty complex idea, and I just felt like it was necessary. I don't know. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys in the next video in the series. I'll try and upload these pretty much immediately. So yeah, thanks again, and see you on the next one. Bye.